Segun Showunmi is the spokesman of the Atiku Abubakar Campaign presidential campaign organization. Mr. Showunmi, your principal, the former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, has tried unsuccessfully for decades to become Nigeria's president. Why are you confident that he would fulfill his ambitions this time?
Thank you very much. I think tenacity is what a leader brings to the table in an environment like ours, when his mind can grasp what needs to happen for the nation to make progress. In Atiku Abubakar's case, it was amazing that even as a very young man, just leaving the customs service somewhere around 1992, he had started to feel that the presidency was something he could contribute on, and he tried to be president. He was taught in that primaries that led to Abiola becoming president, and he backed him in the primaries, and then he became, wanting to become governor of Gongola until that thing was aborted. And he continued with it until he got to 1999, where he was governor of Adamawa elect until he was invited to be vice president. Having been vice president, his eyes must have seen that as vice president, the difference between what the president can do and what the vice president can suggest is so much, because the buck really ends on the president's table. And given the kind of country we run, you have to wait for all of those 4-year tenure before you come up with it again. And so Atiku has consistently been saying, look, this is what I want to do as president. And one thing has distinguished him from all other aspirants over the years. In 2007, he had a plan. In 2011, he had another plan. He reworked the plan and got another plan. In 2015, when he was trying to be the candidate for APC at that time, he also had a plan. And in 2015, very consistent, he has a bigger plan. And so you would think that you would also look at the country itself and imagine, where's the country at now? The present president, Buhari, tried to be president a couple of times, but things did not exactly fit the kind of person that he was to give him that opportunity until 2015, when the major issues that drove him into the villa in 2015 was people felt they need to change their government, and they're entitled to that in a democracy. They wanted to try another party, and they probably thought his military credentials, which they remember from his war against indiscipline days, fitted with his mantra of wanting to fight corruption, and they gave him power. But the difference is, you've seen how he's behaved. In Atiku's case, Atiku seems to be someone who can put his nose to the grindstone and look at the detailed plan and ask questions and bring creative people in and expand the space and allow new ideas to come in, because he's constantly renewing the agenda relative to where Nigeria is per time and where it needs to be. And if you look at what's happening right now, you'll find out that Nigeria needs to create jobs. You can see Atiku is talking heavily about job creation.
I think that should take me to my next question. Okay. Talking about the agenda. Your candidate released a policy paper that is, in my recollection, about 186 pages long. I studied it, and I would like to go into some parts of it. However, I would like to hear what your main 3 priorities or policy thrusts of the Atiku presidency would be like.
I think that the Atiku Abubakar presidency and the PDP candidate's presidency for 2019 is going to be running on about 4 or 5 things majorly, more than any other thing. Everything all cascade into themselves. But the first is that we have the opinion that we cannot be getting statistics telling us that we need to create jobs for 2 reasons. One, we have a young population that is growing, and if you cannot give them something to do or they cannot find jobs, then you're looking at restiveness and probably an implosion of the country in the future. So you need to deal with job creation. So Atiku will be creating jobs. What that means from the policy point of view is that Atiku is going to have job creation component as the central theme of everything. If he's talking about privatization, it's for job creation reasons. If he's talking about opening up the economy, it's for job creation reasons. If he's talking about restructuring, it's also included in it the job creation template. Then he's going to be looking at opening up the economy. Atiku is looking to open up the economy significantly and help it to become a bigger economy, because we can see that our neighbors, Ghana, Rwanda, some of these other countries, are beginning to recreate the way they do business and the way they attract foreign direct investment. And usually, Nigeria was tops in Africa, but we have kind of like backpedaled. So you need to bring somebody in place who understands what business people are looking for and how business people can be attracted and how you can adjust your laws to give them the stability that can allow them to stay in for the long haul and buy into your vision. So you'll be opening up the economy. Atiku also thinks that the country as it is now, in all sincerity, cannot tell itself that it secured itself well. This is Nigeria. That we used to be the nation that provided security for other countries. We solved the problems. Our gallant officers solved the problem in Liberia. We solved the problem in Sierra Leone. We made sure that the entire sub-region knew that they needed to respect democracy and the international community could have a reliable police army or military that can do peacekeeping there. And we got a lot of medals. Now, suddenly we have become a nation now that we can't even protect ourselves. Our soldiers are getting killed. So you know that for security, Atiku Abubakar is going to be looking at a comprehensive overhaul of the entire security architecture. Is it working? What needs to change? What kind of things are we doing? What kind of tools do we need? How do we police it? How do we gather intelligence? How do we make sure that Nigerians can have safe spaces on their head? And when you delve into the sustainability of some of these ideas, three things come to mind. One, you need to figure out how to unite the country. For if Nigerians don't even believe in their own country, then what can you do with that? You need to find a way to bring everybody to the center and get them to, so there's national unity. The second is that you need to ask yourself, how are we going to get the Nigerian economy to run and work well? You will believe that government has no business in business, so you're going to be looking at privatization and liberalization of the sectors to open it up for people with capacity and competence to drive. Then the other one that you're going to be looking at very significantly is restructuring. For what's the point if you don't even have a structure, either fiscal federalism or a governmental structure that can cover the constituent parts of the country and give them the fillip to run that there? So you're going to have those things running there. In the 180-something document, what we have tried to do is to speak to sectoral issues and ideas of how we want to go. And the main thing is the how. How do you want to do it? How do you want to create the jobs? How do you want to open up the economy? How do you want to grow the economy? How do you want to stabilize people? How do you want to get women to be involved? How do you want to do financial inclusion? How do you want to get the youth involved?
Let us go into the plan. Atiku has promised to concession ports, privatize the NNPC, including its refineries and state-owned enterprises, which include Ajaokuta, among others, as part of his plans to jumpstart the economy, like you've rightly stated. A number of critics have condemned the privatization and said he is most likely to benefit from these processes.
Did he benefit from the ones he did before? The answer is no. His Excellency Nasiru El-Rufai was the man in charge of the Bureau of Public Enterprise, the privatization process at that time. Atiku was just the chairman of the board. Somebody has to oversee what other ministers are doing. And Nasiru El-Rufai, in his own book, did say that all through the time that he worked on the privatization, not on one occasion did His Excellency Atiku Abubakar ever interfere or try to get privilege from it. Nigeria is a nation where, unfortunately, we're very critical of our leaders, and we need to be. We need to be critical of our leaders. But in being critical of our leaders, sometimes we let people do malicious comments, and we all run with it. Atiku did not buy any federal government institution to create Intel, his company. Atiku did not buy any federal government institution to create his whole genre of schools. Atiku did not buy any federal government institution to create his farm. Atiku did not buy any federal government institution to create his complete media industry that he has. So what am I saying to you? Atiku has demonstrated over the years that he's well able to find young people, put ideas together with them, fund new ideas that take time to become big, and nobody hears of those ideas when they are laboring. It's only when the ideas start to take root that people start asking all sorts of questions. So to answer your question straight, it's too myopic a concept to think that when a presidential candidate is speaking about liberalization and privatization, that the only thing people can think about is that maybe he's going to be the one to take it. That's not how these things are done. Privatization and liberalization, the first idea is to say that governments have not shown that they know how to manage business. And most of the government-managed business have not been efficiently run. And there has been a lot of corruption around the ownership of government businesses. Therefore, as a policy, a thought process, we need to remove the control of government as much as possible from it. Who are the people that are now entitled to come and take those privileges? Nigerians who have competencies, foreigners who are interested, who will play according to the rules and our laws in the country, and anybody that has enough hunger to be able to bring private sector discipline into it. And let me show you some of the areas where the thing has worked so that you get the point. Think about it. Until recently, you never heard of pension administrators in the country. But if you look around Nigeria now, you have a lot of big pension fund administrators, PFAs, that are private companies that are running well, and you've never had one day where those pension fund administrators have come to the table to say they can't pay their salary, they don't have the pension money, they're not doing investment. All of this is down to privatization. Until 1999, things like this didn't exist. And I can go into many sectors to demonstrate.
Your candidate condemned the power privatization exercise and said that electricity has not improved in spite of it. What is the assurance that Nigerians will bear the fruit of his expanded program? And what were the achievements of the privatization under his watch as vice president?
Okay. On the power program, I don't think Atiku Abubakar condemns privatization as an idea, or as a policy or as an idea. No. I think what Atiku Abubakar is saying is that Nigeria, you have to make up your mind. If you're going to do partial privatization, say it clearly that it's partial privatization. If you're going to do full privatization and liberalization, do full privatization and liberalization. What does that mean? You cannot really privatize any industry and start insisting that you're going to peg the price that the person that is selling the material is going to charge you. It's like saying that you don't have an airline, you want a private sector company to be running the airlines for you, but then you want to force them to be charging a fee that is not sustainable to them. Those are the kinds of things he's talking about. And I think what he's saying with the power is that, first things first, when we started the GSM revolution in this country, which was a privatization project as well, the early stage of it meant that people were buying their SIM cards at a very expensive rate, 72,000 and all sorts of money. But today, the SIM card is almost free. Even when they are putting more investment in it and doing 4G, it's still free because we allowed the private sector to run. And everybody is benefiting from that. So what Atiku is saying is that we need to bravely tell ourselves, if government has not shown competence in running business, and we now need to let the businesses be run by private sector people, Nigerians, some Nigerians, whatever, a mix of it, we need to be disciplined enough not to interfere. If we need to subsidize our own people, the lower rung of the ladder, that's a completely different policy. But it's not that we're going to be using administrative policy to stop the growth of private-led enterprises that we have privatized.
According to a BPE report showed of 2004.
2004, okay.
Yeah, it showed that at least 37% of the firms privatized in that year are not functional. Companies like Delta Steel,
yes,
etc.
Yes.
What do you say about that?
Very simple. Privatization is not a capsule that insists that those companies are not going to have to deal with global competitiveness. The first thing privatization does for federal government, whether they are successful or not successful, is that privatization, first of all, stops government from bleeding money. If government is not bleeding money and somebody takes on the project and it doesn't get competitive and it cannot compete with steel makers in China or some of the other countries of the world, that's not the problem of the federal government. It simply means that in the first instance, the federal government could not even have run it better. So what you will see is that in the early stages, people will, with very little competence, rush and take companies thinking that they can turn it around. Some of them will not be able to succeed at it. But you know what? The assets are never lost. The asset can still be represented to another better company if the fundamentals become better and they can take it on. But what it does for government, in the meantime, is that nobody is asking government to come and be paying salary on a dead industry. Nobody is telling government to come and take pensions on a dead industry. Government is not dealing with bleeding money into a company that is not working. And government has taken some revenue. So it's a win-win situation. We needn't be too emotional about the fact that, oh, because some companies fail, some will fail, some will succeed. From the ashes of the ones that failed, new companies will grow.
The People's Democratic Party released a statement on behalf of your candidate, saying that he has a blueprint to cut down the price of fuel. to a range of about 87 to 90 naira based on a pricing regime. However, his policy document, that's that of the former vice president, seems to contradict this. This plan clearly states that there would be subsidy removal and market pricing. What exactly should people believe?
Yes. You see, a campaign of the magnitude that PDP wants to run will suffer some initial hiccups in consistency of messaging because there are centers that are working on policy, and there is the PDP and its speaking machinery that will also be speaking to people. What will happen, what you heard was way before he became the candidate, or maybe just immediately afterwards. Since then, there has been a merging or a unification of the policy documents of Atiku to all Nigerians, including the PDP and the candidate. So that right now, what you will hear from the candidates and the party and everybody is a consistent message, which is that we will not tell lies about subsidy removal. If we say we're removing subsidy and allow market prices to determine, we will remove subsidy. We will not be like the APC that will say it's removing subsidy, it doesn't know subsidy, and then it's paying subsidy that is not appropriated. We're saying that we won't do that. We believe that petroleum and petrochemical products, including everything in the oil and gas, should not be treated like a special commodity. It should be treated like every other commodity that is exposed to the dictates of the free market. There must be a way where when there's surplus, the price will fall. And when there's scarcity, the price will be adjusted. But you cannot fix the price on one level, even when the world market price of petroleum falls down, when you should normally transfer the reduction in the price to the people. You are not able to do so.
Now, that takes me to the next question.
Okay.
Removal of subsidy would see a massive jump in the price of PMS.
Not necessarily.
And this will impact on the masses greatly.
Not necessarily.
What exactly is the plan to make this bearable?
Not necessarily. Let me explain something to you. In the first instance, the price of hydrocarbon is always undulating. It's up sometimes, it's down sometimes. What we have found in the country is that when the price is up, government will say, because the price is up, it needs to increase the price of the petrol or the kerosene and all of those things because the price is up in the international market. But because they are not respecting the principles of privatization and market force determining prices, when those prices fall, Nigerians are still paying that high price that they were paying when the price was high. So what you get with a liberalized and a full privatization of the sector is that, of course, when the price is high, you pay a little bit high price. But when the price falls, as they often do, you will have an adjustment in the prices. So the Nigerians will find out that eventually there's going to be a balance based on, one, your proper pricing will engender more capital into the industry. People will be able to either build their own refinery because they know they can charge market prices, and that will eventually reduce the price. But what we're doing now is that we're fully deceiving ourselves. We're bleeding the economy. We're encouraging corruption. Everything is opaque. Nobody knows how much is the landing cost. Nobody knows how much is the subsidy. Nobody knows how much is the equalization money. And the whole concept of equalization is born out of an idea that if you bring in the petrol from the ports in Lagos, there's a distance between here and Sokoto, and that you want to try and make sure that everybody is paying relatively the same price. But I ask you, are we paying the same price for yam in Benue as they're paying for yam in Lagos? Why is petrol different from yam? You even need more energy and more toiling to grow yam. Why are you not doing an equalization for tomato? Why are you not doing an equalization for ram? Why are you not doing an equalization for pepper? Why are you treating hydrocarbon differently? If you stop thinking that hydrocarbon and petrol is different, you will be able to see that the price will balance. Let me tell you, nobody has ever been asked to come and pay more than is reasonable for foodstuff, and it will be the same with petroleum.
Atiku has made at least 2 ambitious plans to double GDP to about $900 billion. And that would require at least 12% GDP growth year on. How is this realistic, given the fact that the country is neck deep in debt and economic chaos?
The last time Atiku had anything to do with government was between the 1999-2007 cycle. Need I remind you, Nigeria was neck deep in debt. Nigeria was neck deep in a pariah status. Nigeria was neck deep in fragmentation because everybody was fighting themselves for whatever reason and the military and all of that. Nigeria had a depressed economy. A lot of gloomy statistics was on the table. When Atiku and Obasanjo came on board, they fixed it. They got us out of debt. They did so much. So what he is saying to Nigerians invariably is that, guys, when I was coming in 1999, I had some experience, but not as much experience as I have now that I've been vice president and I've been out of power for 12 years. I've been seeing things, I've been watching things, I've been studying other countries of the world. I now know absolutely, I am more sure than when I was in 1999 that I can almost immediately start fixing this with policy, fix this, fix that, fix this, fix that, and in a very short time, if I could grow the economy by 6%, in 1999, the population was less. The integration of the world was less. You didn't have as much tele-density in the country. We have all of that now. We have a vibrant economy, a vibrant human capital that we can retool. We can do a curriculum adjustment. We can talk to our neighbors. We can fix a few things very quickly. We can talk about restructuring so that everybody in Nigeria can calm down. I can grow the economy by double digits. And that is the minimum that Nigeria should aspire to. And if I can attract foreign capital to come and take some of the things that I need them to take so that they can bring the competencies of Nigerians on the table, then I will grow it. Let me tell you, in Nigeria today, can you just imagine for a second that we didn't have a Dangote, or we didn't have a Mike Adenuga, or we didn't have an Otedola? These are all creations of a liberalized economy underneath an idea of an Atiku and Obasanjo. So can you imagine how many more of such we can create? How many more of such we can consciously make happen? Because number one, Nigeria is luckier than most countries. Nigeria is a country where we can be the producer of the goods ourselves, and we can also be the consumer of the goods ourselves because we have the numbers. So what you now need is a government that is creative enough to unleash the potentials and the energy of the Nigerian people with private sector discipline.
Let me quote a line from the manifesto.
Okay.
In order to improve domestic supply of refined petroleum products, government will incentivize those investors that are willing to site modular refineries in the north to source crude from neighboring Niger and Chad via pipeline to be constructed under public-private partnership. Why are we buying fuel from Niger and Chad? How is this a priority?
Very good. It's a priority. You see, everybody in the world knows that America has a large deposit of hydrocarbon, and yet it buys. It buys because you use your hydrocarbons cleverly and sensibly. If it is a lot easier for you to buy from your neighbors, because you're buying at the international market anyway, some people are buying from you, and you can bring it to somewhere like Katsina or somewhere like Sokoto or somewhere like the border of Maiduguri, or you know what I'm trying to say, or from, you will find out that the distance of travel is shorter. Unlike when you're moving it from Extravos all through the interland to the north. So you can find a situation where if somebody was to want to start a modular refinery in the northern part of Nigeria now, his greatest concern will be how will he get the crude to be able to run the modular refinery. What he's saying is that we can embrace a complex modular concept that allows us to get this supply from many areas and dump it here and make sure that, in any case, most of our neighbors are even, at its best, even smuggling our petrol. So if we put a refinery near the border, maybe they will smuggle less from us because they can have enough to saturate their own environment and also saturate the northern area. So at the end of the day, let me tell you, the world has become extremely small. Globalization, telecommunication has made the world so small. We can sit right now having this interview, and if we're streaming live online, they can be watching us right away in China. So it's too much of an archaic way of thinking. If you now insist that you're not going to take what is available where you can, or that you are going to run your country as if it's isolated from the dictates of the free market in the world. Nigeria needs to be a big economy. Nigeria needs to be an economy that can compete because of not just the Nigerian, but the pride of the entire black race.
President Buhari is running on anti-corruption and security as the two main achievements of his administration. He claims to have fought corruption and won the war against Boko Haram by reclaiming territories Nigeria lost to the sect. Do you agree?
President Muhammadu Buhari can never say that and be truthful to himself. How can President Muhammadu Buhari say he has won the war against Boko Haram when just the last couple of days, you all know what has happened? It is the major source of sorrow that Nigeria, that used to be the champion in West Africa, fighting crime and busting all the criminal elements in other people's country, are now being killed every day because the commander-in-chief does not even know what he's doing. And on anti-corruption, look, you can speak about corruption. You can speak about fighting corruption. You can hound people on the pages of the newspaper. You can be embarrassing everybody. The fact is, how many convictions have you been able to achieve in the years? How many new policy have you been able to bring in to strengthen it? Even the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, which was passed by PDP, you have not even been able to improve on it. What you would have expected for them to even have the right to even mention that word is that if they had been getting people convicted faster, if they have found a way to get the judiciary and themselves to work better, if they've not been hounding judges and jumping over the fence to try and embarrass senators, the whole thing is a joke. They have failed on anti-corruption because too many corrupt people are around them. They have failed on security because, hey, in this country now, we have become a nation where we are even not able to be sure that the general is safe. We can't even be sure that our armed forces can retreat. We can't even be sure that we can have air power to back up our troops on the ground. Come on, man. We are all Nigerians. I don't want us to politicize.
What is your assessment of the next level document of the
See, I don't want to be guilty of helping them to, further the fraud and the crime they've committed. The document itself has come under severe barraging that they have plagiarized another man's document without authority. And they have not even had the decency to withdraw it, to apologize and all that. And the infographic that they are putting there, claiming that they're going to this, they're going to that. The question you need to ask them, didn't they claim they would do more in 1995, in 2015? Didn't they promise a whole lot more in 2015? If they are not capable of delivering on their promises the first time, why will we now begin to reinforce failure? Failure must not be reinforced. The only reason why we're in a democracy is so that we can have an opportunity to change leaders when they are not meeting up. Buhari and the APC have failed dramatically. They have failed in all material particulars. They have no reason for any Nigerian to. They've even made us less united because of their attitude. If they're not calling the women and the men lazy, they're calling the Nigerian people mad. If they're not calling the Nigerian people mad, they are accepting the generalization of criminally corrupt from other nations. Every aspect you look, there's nothing to smile. Nigeria right now is said to be one of the countries that can easily implode, one of the countries that can fail because of mismanagement. Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world. Why? Because they didn't even know what kind of policies can best fit the people of Nigeria. They made a whole mess. There will be another opportunity for us to go into the mess they made. But the only thing I can say to Nigerians, if they fool you once, shame on them. Because how could you have known they're going to fool you? If you allow yourself to be fooled the second time, shame on you. For you have known they fooled you once, you should have adjusted. Right now, the APC has no basis to come and say they want to rule Nigeria again, and you should just vote them out, go get your PVC, do whatever you need to do, take back your country, put Atiku Abubakar in charge because he's the man with the plan. He'll create jobs for you, he'll open up the economy, he'll unify Nigeria, he'll secure the borders of Nigeria because he knows how to do. He will restructure the country, and we all together will be better off for it. Better Nigeria. It's Atiku time. Let's get Nigeria working again.
Your candidate claimed he was recently harassed by operatives of the State Security Service on his arrival from Dubai. How prepared is Atiku Campaign and its supporters against intimidation?
Atiku tweeted that he was concerned about the heightened level of harassment, the gadget, and looking for what was not there, or trying to just be funny, or just overplaying their hands in the country when he was coming in. That does not even enjoy the smallest little concern around intimidation. What the presidency and the Nigerian people and the operators of the government must know is that security agencies in the country, INEC, police, all of them, they are to serve all Nigerians, meaning they are to serve the ruling party and they are to serve those in opposition. And therefore, their neutrality will be critical to the kind of country we want to build. For we are looking to make life more meaningful for everybody. Atiku just the other day said he was going to give scholarship to children of the slave soldiers. You think he was waiting to be commander-in-chief to do that? It's because he understands. You can't be commander-in-chief in the armed forces of a country. People are dying, you're not fixing it. You can't have them working and they're not getting a living wage. You can't have them not being able to get succor when they have lost their life. So there is no intimidation anywhere. In actual fact, I even think that the APC and Buhari are the ones that are intimidated. They don't want to come for a debate. If you ask them to come for a debate, they run. If you tell them, when are we going to have the debate, they won't agree. If Buhari tells us the day he wants to have a debate, wake Atiku up 3 minutes before the debate, he's going to dust him.
You always sound convinced that your candidate, Atiku Abubakar, will be sworn in as president by May 29, 2019. Why? What is your path to victory?
Anything other than Atiku presidency will be illogical and against common sense. The Nigerians are the ones that will take a decision on that day. These same Nigerians are the ones that have been at the receiving end of all of the policy misdirection of this present government. It is impossible for you to expect people to be dying every day and yet they will still be reinforcing the people that are supposed to be managing them. It is impossible for people to be getting poorer every day and still be reinforcing the people that are making them poor. It is impossible for people to be seeing that their country is disunited and be reinforcing those that have divided them. It will be impossible for people to become the poverty capital of the world and be reinforcing those who made them poor. So what I'm saying in essence is that the pathway to victory is very simple. The message is a message of hope. The agenda is very clear. The plan is laid on the table. Every man can read it and find a role for himself there. It is a Nigeria for every person. Atiku is just going to be the leader of a new movement that brings all Nigerians to become the happy and the proud and the egalitarian Nigerians that they've always been. At the end of the day, it's not even about Atiku. It's about you, it's about me, it's about the farmer, it's about the market woman, it's about everybody. All of us must say to ourselves, democracy gives us the opportunity to choose our leader every circle. And the next circle has come now. It's time to choose another leader.
Let's talk politics and play a little around the number games. Your peer on the other side, Festus Keyamo, has said that your campaign has considered the most populous voting bloc, that's the Northwest, to his candidate, Muhammadu Buhari. He also said that your candidate will be trounced in most parts of the Northeast and Southwest.
Okay, I know that Festus can be a bit loquacious, but I think that it takes it to a ridiculous level when he thinks they've considered. How is that possible? Let me give you some numbers around the Northwest. Look at the Northwest as it is now. The Northwestern people are not in the same position they were in 2015. In 2015, you could come and bring the tribal argument to a Northwest person and say, Jonathan is not a Muslim. Oh, Jonathan is not a Hausa man. Oh, Jonathan is not Fulani. That argument is off the table. Buhari cannot prove to me that he is more a Fulani than Atiku. If you doubt me, get a Fulani journalist to go and interview Atiku in Fulani and get the same Fulani journalist to go and interview Buhari in Fulani. What you are going to find out is that Buhari can't even speak Fulani. So Atiku is even more Fulani than Buhari can ever be. So he's going to get votes there. Plus, there are people who conversed and canvassed the street and got the vote for him in those regions. In Kano, you are having the Kwankwasos of this world. No matter how hard he tries, he's not going to get their votes. They're going to bring some votes in. When you get to Kaduna, you'll have the Makarafis of this world. When you get to all of the states there, you're going to have big people in the whole of the Northeast. Why will any Northeastern person, knowing fully well that since this country was created, only Tafawa Balewa is the only Northeastern person that has ever been president. And now, a Northeastern person who is Fulani, who is royalty, who is eminently qualified, is on the ballot. And then you expect the Northeastern person to leave the votes for only one section of people in the Northwest. It doesn't work that way. So they're not going to get the vote. In Taraba, what are they going to do to get the votes from Mama Taraba? When you come to the Southwest, my sister, the issues that concern the Southwest are the issues that Atiku is talking about. I'm sure that apart from the Southwest and the Southeast, maybe the South, nobody talks about restructuring more than them. So the Southwest is going to be keen on that. Job creation, they'll be keen on that. Security, they'll be keen on that. Are you going to take the influence of everybody and gloss on it and make it look small because of who? The people that are in the Southwest, the influencers there, we know them. Afenifere says they are with Atiku. Obasanjo says it's with Atiku. A great number of the leaders of the church says they are with Atiku. The student group said they are with Atiku. Agbekoya said they are with Atiku. Yoruba self-determination group say we are with Atiku. So where exactly is he going to get this number? And in that same Southwest, you have a very large ethnic group called the Igbos, South, and others. They have their son as vice president. How are they going to now go and start rewarding somebody that doesn't care about them, that is doing python dance to kill them with their votes? Festus is dreaming. By the time the election results are in, God give us a free, fair, peaceful, and transparent election, Festus is going to realize that he was backing the wrong horse. Even now, he's not even able to carry a single member of the pro-democracy group with him. Why? Because he has betrayed the celestial mandate that everybody had hoped Festus would do. Festus was supposed to evolve to become the next Ganifa Emir of this country. But on the mass of porridge, Festus has betrayed that which he knows he has done. So I don't know what Festus means, but when the votes are counted, Festus and his team will be beating blue-black. Interesting.
According to a document that showed up online, the protection of your candidates from intimidation is exactly why your presidential campaign organization hired a Trump lobbyist. Some people actually said that Mr. Brian Ballard was hired to help Atiku get a U.S. visa. What exactly is the situation?
Look, Mercy, we are the representation of the motherland. What do I mean by that? All civilization and humanity started from here. We are not going to reduce ourselves to a people who don't know who we are, what we are, and where we are going. The respect we give other countries does not invalidate our own sovereignty. We are the most populous black nation on earth. Other nations don't come to our countries as a mark of endorsement for their presidency. Our own president needn't go to any nation for a mark of endorsement for his presidency. The issues for the Nigerians to determine is that of Nigeria within Nigeria. We will cooperate and collaborate with our allies, but we will not yield an inch of the sovereignty of Nigeria to the expectations of people who don't understand what it means to be a nation. You first of all have to develop your own national pride before anybody can respect you. And to say, frankly and truthfully, that you say he's been hired and all that, that was when the PDP party was probably trying to do some repositioning. And does the APC not have Axelrod and co, who are helping them with their positioning and creative agendas and other? And I can tell you for free, I've been in this campaign office. I'm the spokesperson of this campaign. I'm the director of media and publicity. I have not seen one single Trump person that has come to tell me what to say, how to say it, or how to speak it. So I don't know where that is coming from. But it is the tendency of the ruling party, the APC, to cook propaganda, to tell lies, and to serve it to the people non-stop. But thank goodness God, whatever it is they were saying in 2015 is no longer available now. They can no longer claim credit for what they can do. Nigerians have seen what they have done and what they have not done, and Nigerians have seen that their lives are the worse off for it. So therefore, the election is that of Nigeria. We call on the international community to reduce their interference in our elections. They should put their eyes on it. They should be interested in how the thing is peaceful, because a peaceful Nigeria is better for the entire sub-region and for the world. But a Nigeria president will be determined by Nigerians on Nigerian soil, under Nigerian terms, in Nigeria.
Mr. Showunmi, thank you so much for your time.
Totally my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.